I'm very happy to be with you all here. Generally, I'm very happy anyway, by Srila Prabhupada's mercy. Krishna consciousness is, after all, blissful. It's not just a feeling. But I'm especially happy to be among so many enthusiastic devotees. Physically, I'm having a little hard time to keep up with your enthusiasm. Just by the laws of nature, older bodies tend not to have as much energy as younger bodies. I can hear, especially seeing there's so many devotees coming up and so enthusiastic, purely serving Srila Prabhupada's mission. And even though most of you come to be with me in Croatia every year, I thought to come here at least time to time. I have to do time management for my life because I have books to write. It takes a lot of time and concentration. But I thought it'd be good to be with you, especially over Janmashtami and Vyasa Puja, because I guessed that you would celebrate that with mostly hearing and chanting, which is the way I like to celebrate it. In other places there may be some other factors also. So congratulations on your having a very, what we call in English, a tight ship. It means everything is run very well. Run very well doesn't necessarily mean with German precision. I think Czechs are not quite as organized as Germans. So I'm not allowed to say anything. No racial jokes. No racism. But well organized means the things that should go on are going on. Especially the book distribution is going on. Congratulations to all the devotees for continuing to distribute Srila Prabhupada's books and on keeping a standard ashram and ashram standards. Generally or pretty much always when there's a good, well-running institution of any kind, not to speak of a spiritual institution, that's half a sentence. I don't really translate half sentences, but you're able to do it. Yeah, go on. It's because of good leadership, so you can reflect on this point also. Things wouldn't be as they are here now very nicely if it wasn't for a certain devotee whose name I'll not mention just now. So keep this spirit throughout your life, those of you who are connected here, those who are associated here. Recently in America I met, for the first time as far as I remember, a godbrother of mine, Chandrasekhar Prabhu, who, as far as I remember, I met him before, and I wish I had met him before. He is, I gave him a new name, Mr. Enthusiasm. He's 64 years old, but he's enthusiastic like a young boy. Quite likely he is a young boy in the place he's going to, even though his body, like as is common with 64-year-old bodies, is not in new condition. For 30 years he has been developing the ISKCON prison ministry, first of all in America, and he's expanding now to other countries, especially India. So he told me that he was pulled out of hippie life by Vishnu Jan Swami, and I don't think a day goes past without him mentioning at least once or twice Vishnu Jan Swami, and how he joined with him, and they were doing college programs and singing and dancing and feasting. So he, Chandrasekhar Prabhu, has kept that spirit throughout his life. Therefore he's still enthusiastic. Things will change in our lives. Just like even shortly after Chandrasekhar Prabhu joined Vishnu Jan, their program changed as Vishnu Jan Swami got linked with Tamal Krishna Goswami. And their simple life of straightforward preaching got converted into the greatest ever book distribution, traveling force in the history of ISKCON, even today. There's nothing like it ever since. So that was something extraordinary, but it was different. And eventually, as Chandrasekhar explained, he was married, his wife died young when he had 2 young daughters, and he personally looked after them. But he was always thinking how to preach, and in this condition he started the prison ministry. So things will change, circumstances will change. But keep this spirit that you have now. Probably and hopefully this center will change also. As you get more and more devotees, you'll already require a bigger place. So many things can change. Some of you who are now brahmacharinis, then you may also go to Grihastha ashram. So that's a big change.
To je velká změna.
But you don't have to change your spirit. Quite likely in future many of you will look back, just like Chandrasekhar Prabhu looks back to his early days with Vishnu Jan Swami. And you'll think, oh, those were such blissful days. But keep the spirit. For Grihasthas, it's best not to change. If a Grihastha can live in one place peacefully throughout his Grihastha life, that's a great blessing. Most people are on average, people in America, they move their residence at least 4 to 5 times in their life. So for Grihasthas, if they can remain in one place steadily, looking after their families, practicing Krishna consciousness, for them that's a great blessing. Often I hear from Grihasthas, our spiritual progress seems to be very slow. Don't worry. It's unsurprising, especially in the modern age where people are full of anxieties how to maintain their family and have to work very hard to do so. If you can just stay steady, that in itself is a great achievement. Of course, by staying steady, I don't just mean maintaining your family, but maintaining your spiritual practices also. Okay. So even if you don't see yourself making massive leaps forward in Krishna consciousness, you just stay steady. And you may not even notice how you're advancing. Srila Prabhupada gave an example. It's not from Shastra, it's from his own personal experience. And if you're sitting in a plane, sometimes you might not even notice that they've taken off. If you're absorbed in something, a reading or something, you might not even notice, and you look out the window and all of a sudden you're up in the sky and you haven't even noticed that they're taking off. So you might not even notice how you're making advancement. Or it may be that in Grihastha life, one is struggling for many years, but Krishna appreciates them. And there comes a time when the children are grown up and you can dedicate yourself more in direct service to Krishna. And that life experience you have and those years you have of holding on to Krishna in difficult circumstances, that will be a tremendous asset. So you can make rapid progress. Now I'm going to speak about something of very grave import, something that many of you may not be much aware of. It's one of the grave issues facing our movement. although Krishna consciousness is fully transcendental, we live in a very troubled world. And many of you may not even know much about many of the troubles going on in this world. One reason for that is if you don't know English, then you don't get all the bad news. Now, we didn't emphasize all the bad news. There's lots of good news also, but there are some very bad things also.